Hello and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. And you're like, oh, Kennedalia, I'm so excited to see you and Jimmy Fallon sitting together, talking about the good old days, perhaps regaling us of stories when you both played college football. It's really fun seeing the world of amateur sports through your professional eyes. Well, I would love to use my 4 eyes to lay eyes on Jimmy Fallon. But he ain't here. He apparently got beat up by Patrick Mahomes last night. Patrick blamed Jimmy for the Chiefs' loss. And then Taylor Swift got in on the action and punched him right in the baby maker. So, Jimmy will be back in action on the radio tomorrow. But as of today, yeah, we had a bit of a travel snafu. So I'm handling this one by myself. And rightly so, because I was supposed to have an intervention for Jimmy today. Obviously, he's not here. Someone might have tipped him. Probably that dumb Patrick Mahomes. So I'm going to have an intervention for either Hunter Biden or Joe Biden, because I've been thinking about this, going back and forth. These are two people who need someone who cares about them enough to step in and say, what you're doing is not working. And for the president, obviously, there are greater ramifications for the rest of us with bad policies, questionable people that he hires, lots of cronyism. None of that is a big surprise, but it is terrifying to have a power-hungry man who has been seeking the presidency for the better part of 40 years. He's finally there. And no one wants him to remain in office. Democrats, independents, women, Latino voters, the college educated, of which somehow I miraculously am sort of in that mix. No one wants him to be president. No one trusts that he's capable of handling the economy or Israel or foreign policy in general. No one thinks that he is going to be able to steer the economy back on track. Everyone thinks that the economy is on the wrong track. He can't finish a sentence. He trips over his own feet. His crazy dog keeps biting Secret Service agents. He's got this weird thing about sniffing people. He's a plagiarist. He plagiarizes himself, which is like, I don't know, literary masturbation, I guess. And he's guilty of that and God knows what else. But it's just time. After seeing the fourth and final Republican debate last week and the week before, seeing Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis go at it, you realize that all anyone is saying in the country is that we want someone else. We don't want Joe Biden, and someone needs to intervene. It should be his wife. It should be his family. But for so long, Hunter Biden has done so much with so little that his dad's access to power has really been his only pipeline to his own personal bank account. But young Hunter got in some deep yogurt over the weekend as well, with some new felonies and misdemeanors relating to what he calls his tax affairs. And this in addition to the gun troubles that he's facing from the feds as well. So I have been saying that the woman who threw the Chipotle bowl at the worker when she was disgusted by her order, she will probably spend more time in prison than Hunter Biden. I still believe that. But what I think we're seeing here with special counsel David Weiss really going after Hunter Biden in ways that we were promised he wanted to, but he might have been rooster blocked by cronyist Merrick Garland, who, didn't get a seat on the Supreme Court, didn't get to scratch his SCOTUS because of Mitch McConnell taking the big gamble on Donald Trump. So by inserting him as Attorney General, the president has also knitted himself a fantastic shield for him and his family, in particular, his very troubled son. And so, and what we had heard from whistleblowers at the IRS and elsewhere was that Merrick Garland was running interference. The Department of Justice was specifically, and maybe some U.S. attorneys working directly with the Attorney General. So now that we're seeing sort of the restraints lifted on David Weiss, I think that's a message to the president that you are no longer protected. We're going after your son because we are going after you. And I really believe that this is the establishment's way of saying you need to step aside. Your vice president sucks even harder than you do. She is less competent. She's worse at her job. She never should have been nominated for the position. And we as a party and as Americans have lost faith in you and her collectively, her even more so. Her poll numbers are even worse, which is unimaginable because the Wall Street Journal was reporting today that Joe Biden has the lowest approval rating of his entire presidency. Right now, it is only going to get worse. The economy is going to get worse. The foreign policy climate is not going to right itself anytime soon. And so Joe Biden, someone needs to intervene, get him out of there, get Kamala Harris out of there. I don't know what you do with Hunter Biden, because here is someone who can take no responsibility for his actions, but he likes to capitalize on his own personal drama, which, as I've said many times, it's offensive to people who have faced and battled addiction and do battle every single day. If you're really working the steps, you know that accountability is a big part of it. But I love that Hunter Biden joined little teeny vegan Moby. And I love Moby. Who doesn't love Moby? I love the 90s, so I will always love Moby. He joined Moby for his podcast and just had some real whopper quotes with Moby. And so this is how he's rationalizing what Republicans are doing to his dad via him. He said, what they're trying to do is they're trying to kill me, knowing that it will be a pain greater than my father could be able to handle, so therefore destroying a presidency in that way. He doesn't say how they're trying to kill him. I don't know if some of his crimes coming to light is some secret suicide mission. I don't think that it is. I don't think anyone is forcing him to chew on a cyanide capsule anytime soon. I think it would be much better if he were at least straightforward about what he was doing. I think people would have a lot more respect for him. And, it's as though he expects immunity from criticism by saying, I'm a drug addict and I've struggled with addiction my whole life, addiction and mental illness. It is not. And when you do face your demons and you are honest and coming forward and divulging what you've done in an effort to make your life better, you don't use addiction as a crutch or as a way of rationalizing your behavior, because that kind of behavior, it speaks to someone who's very much still in the throes of their addiction and they're not working on it, which is an insult to anyone who is in recovery. He goes on to say, I realize that it's not about me. And then the second thing that I realized that these people are just sad, very, very sick people that have most likely just faced traumas in their lives, that they've decided that they are going to turn them into an evil, and they decide that they're going to inflict on the rest of the world, which is just gobbledygook psychobabble that essentially means nothing. It is just a way for him to deflect and talk about other mysterious people who are trying to kill him because he did some shady things with some shady people, earned a lot of money, paid a bunch of people in his family, didn't pay taxes, and now the House Oversight Committee has the bank receipts. That those are not hyperbolic secret ninja assassins who are looking to take his life like they're a member of Putin's secret army. These are legislators who have known for some time because of the information on a laptop that he left when he was cracked out of his mind. And, somehow the laptop repair guy cracked the code and gave it to Rudy Giuliani, who sweated brown. And now here we are. So of the two, it's still a toss-up. But you know what I'm going to do, because I'm a giving, loving, and compassionate person, since it's Christmas, I think we should do a 2-for-1 intervention. And I think Hunter and Joe should both go to a longer-term rehabilitation facility. And obviously the president needs a different kind of rehab than his son. He probably needs some occupational therapy, maybe some light swimming in a warm pool. and some of those super fun senior salsa classes where they sit down and learn some sick moves. That would be a better speed. That would be more therapeutic for our president. I think Hunter truly needs 90 days to get clean and get right, and get right with himself and stop lying to himself, because it's only through his delusion that he's able to barf up nonsense like this, blaming other people for having a political vendetta, which is very rich considering the climate that we're in, and how his dad's, most aggressive opponent is being targeted by a number of federal and state entities in order to end his bid for the presidency to unseat Hunter's father. So he needs to come clean. He needs to be honest, which may be an impossibility for him at this point. But Hunter, give it the old college try. I believe in you, even if you don't. This has been Kennedy Saves the World. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.